Welcome, Michelle and Deb. So good to have you here today. Let's go right into it. Michelle, many seniors rely on PCAL every year to help them with their tax preparation. Are you going to continue this service this year?
Julie, we're very excited to announce that we are going to be able to do this program. The AARP tax program has come up with several options for doing taxes in a safe manner for both our patrons and the volunteers who are seniors themselves, and for taxpayers. CAL will be able to host a low-contact method where it's kind of like a car hop setup, a drop-off style and pickup.
Oh, that's excellent. So are you going to completely coordinate this with all the people? Like, what is your role in this whole process?
Sure. So CAL's role, we are the host site for the AARP tax program. And our role really is working with AARP for coordinating site services and how they're going to implement their program. And also we are the registration stream. So people that are going to be doing their taxes through the AARP tax program and coming to CAL to do so, they'll register through our phone system, through Cynthia.
Oh, that's excellent, because they're used to working with you anyway, so that it's a comfortable process for them to follow. Now, how many people in a normal year take advantage of this service that you offer?
Sure. So on a typical year, it's about 500 tax returns. We've seen up to 700 in past years. So you can imagine how renowned and loved this program is and how vital it is. Because we have to change kind of the scope of the way we do things with COVID, we'll probably be able to execute about 200 this year. So there's a big change there, but we're happy that we're still able to do this.
And do you have any alternate resources for your seniors, for the people that you cannot accommodate because of COVID?
We don't have alternate resources at this time. I'll have Deb speak to that a little bit more. Really not able to give recommendations for specific tax accountants and the like. Well, certainly if people call and they have issues, we'll try to help them navigate what works best for them and what might feel comfortable for community resources.
Gotcha. And right before we get to Deb and ask a little bit more specific questions about the AARP Tax Aid Foundation, PCAL offers an awful lot of other services for seniors. Can you just briefly go over what you're doing right now for our seniors?
Absolutely. Thank you, Julie, for asking. You know, our facility's still closed, but we don't feel closed. We have a grab-and-go lunch program 3 times a week. Phenomenal food. Anyone in Plymouth can sign up for that. Just call us. We have senior college. Amazing partnership with Bridgewater State University, in which you could take online college classes, $65 a semester, unlimited. We have some local folks teaching, some governmental, some dignitaries, really, really good stuff. We have virtual programming, everything from exercise to hot topics to debate, intergenerational on virtual, and the Senior Learning Network, which is an incredible opportunity to virtually explore things throughout the world and the United States. So there's a lot going on at CAL despite our doors technically being closed.
That is just wonderful. Thank you, Michelle, for that. And Deb, can you tell us about the AARP Tax Aid Foundation and what kind of services this foundation offers?
The AARP Tax Aid Foundation has been around for well over 30 years, and it offers to do taxes preparation for low to moderate income people. Other than that, I'm not qualified to tell you about the foundation in and of itself. That's beyond my scope. I'm a volunteer and have been a volunteer doing taxes for 10 years, and that's my focus.
Okay. And as a volunteer, can you just walk us through what the process of doing your taxes through AARP would look like for a typical senior?
Okay, so first of all, we are focused on seniors, but you are not required to be a senior to be in our program. You just need to meet our scope of requirements. So I don't want that. That's a false narrative that's out there that you must be a senior for us to work with you. But this year it's very different. You will make your appointment through the council on the Center for Active Living, just as you always have. But after that, everything else will be very different. You need to pick up your forms. We have intake forms that must be completed, and you will pick them up on the Friday before your appointment outside Cal on the bench. You'll be required to fill those out and then come on Tuesday while you stay in your car at the time of your appointment. You will be greeted by an AARP volunteer who will do a brief intake. And if you agree by signing the form that you have to sign, that we will take all your forms and scan them into a secure file. Then you can take your forms and go home. And the next day, a tax preparer will call you and finish your intake and then work on your return. And then after that, a quality review person will call and review your return with you and set up an appointment for Thursday to come pick up your return. And on Thursday, you'll drive up, you'll briefly go over your return, sign the form to e-file it, and then go home with your tax return. And your return will be e-filed at that time. Of course, masks must be worn by all people participating in this program.
Wow, it sounds like you definitely thought this whole thing through. If a senior or if anyone who's going to do this can't bring the information themselves, can they have a proxy or their child or someone bring the information for them?
No.
Okay.
We have to be able to identify you. You have to come with a license, with your Social Security numbers. We are very strict at doing that.
Identity safety.
There are limited circumstances where we have done a power of attorney, but we won't do that this year.
Okay.
There's just not enough. We're down to a quarter of the people we can serve.
Sure,
so we're going to keep it very simple.
Yep, and very secure. Are there any tax changes this year that especially seniors should know about?
There are, and I just want to mention there's a couple of changes in what we're doing. Normally, we can do a wide variety of tax returns. We're limiting it this year because we're trying to reach those that need us the most. So we're not doing any return that itemizes. That people used to call that the long form. That's Schedule A. We're not doing any small businesses. That's Schedule C. And we're not doing any state returns that are not Massachusetts states. So those things are really important to get out, that we're not doing that type of work. A good proportion of our clients in the past have done that before. But as for differences, new things, the major two are that anyone can take up to $300 in qualified charitable donations without itemizing. So if you've made donations of cash, check, or charge to a charity and you have that documentation, you can take up to $300 off your income for that particular for that donation. This does not include bringing items to Savers or giving clothing to a clothing drive. It must be a cash donation. Okay. And the other one is the economic impact payments. If people have not gotten what they think they should have gotten, that can be remedied, or might be able to be remedied on their current tax return. So there is that as well. So we need people to pay attention to that.
Okay, great. All really, really valid information. And how do folks go about scheduling their appointment with PCAL? Is there a certain time frame, website, phone call? How do you do it?
It's a phone call. They will start taking phone calls February 1st. And you just call the main CAL number and speak with Cynthia. She has the reservations. Now, we're only preparing taxes on Tuesdays. We're only picking up taxes on Tuesdays, and we can pick up about 20 a day. There's a limited amount of time in the day. There's a fair amount of effort that goes into getting everything sorted and put together. So we're hoping we'll be able to do 20 each day. That's why we're so limited in the number of people we can serve.
Got it, and that makes perfect sense. Michelle, back to you. What can you say to your senior population out there that you communicate with so effectively and so often, who are nervous about doing their taxes during this current environment that we live in?
Sure. Well, as Deb had mentioned, I think, the nerves and the stress probably will come from the fact that our seniors realize that we are only able to do lower numbers this year. So I know we've received a lot of phone calls from concerned seniors that rely on this particular program. But to your point, I think we need to kind of take out the stress and fear of COVID. The reason we're doing it in such a very thoughtful and safe manner is so people can drive up, feel like they're not leaving their cars, they have masks on, they're in their own safe space, and they don't have to do anything other than that. They'll come pick up an envelope prior to their appointment that's going to be marked with their name on a bench outside. They're not going to be interacting closely with people. They're not going to be sitting across from someone as in traditional times. So safety-wise, I think seniors and anyone who utilizes this program should feel very secure with the manner by which we're doing it. There's a lot of phone work and just a little bit of interaction outdoors. Otherwise, it's pretty good. And I think people should know the one thing that we're stressing this year, honestly, because of the limited number, you need to move through the appointments in a timely manner. If we have people that just don't show up or just lagging in doing what they need to do, we're going to grow concerned for being able to complete that tax return. So for those that sign up, February 1st is the open season. So here we go.
Okay. And finally, last year, I know they extended the end date of filing your taxes past April 15th. Is there any talk, or is there any buzz out there about that happening again this year? Either of you, have you heard anything?
It's something that it is something we would like to see, but the IRS hasn't contacted me yet, so
Okay.
I have no way of knowing.
Okay. So what's the last possible appointment right now to schedule on a Tuesday to make sure that you can have your taxes filed in a timely manner?
I believe it's April 6th.
Correct.
Okay, great. Ladies, thank you so much. This is such a valuable service that you always have offered, and I'm sure the seniors and others totally appreciate it. And they can reach out to PCAL, and I'm sure you'll have information on your website about this also. So again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, PAC TV. Thank you, Julie.
Okay, back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Julie, Michelle, and Deb. For more information about the Center for Active Living, visit the Center's Facebook page at COA Plymouth or call them directly at 508-830-4230.